and welcome to another session of tissues. Yes, we are discussing about tissues and we have already completed the meristematic tissue and permanent tissues. I have told you that permanent tissues are of two types. Simple permanent tissues and complex permanent tissues, out of which we are done with the simple permanent tissues. Yes, you remember we discussed about parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. They are the three different types of simple permanent tissues. So before discussing now complex permanent tissue, we need to understand another type of tissue which is present in plants. Yes, we need to study another important type of tissue that is present in plants before heading into the complex permanent tissues. Yes guys, we need to learn about an important tissue which is present in the plant, and that is called as your protective tissues, and it's present in plants. Yes, so let's start with the protective tissue which is present in the plants. Yes, from the very term you can understand protective tissue. The term itself defines that its main function is to provide protection to plants. Isn't it? The name itself describes that its main function is to provide protection to the plants, and hence it is not grouped under meristematic tissues or permanent tissues. Its main function is to provide function, and hence it is not considered under your meristematic tissues or simple permanent tissues. Yes guys, clear now? Yes, protective plant tissue. Its main function is to provide function. It's provide your protection. Yes, so its main function is to provide protection. Okay guys, let me know one thing. Yes, name the organ. Yes, name the organ which covers our whole body and which provides such protection. Yes guys, do answer me in the chat box. Name the organ which provides and present all over the human body and provides protection. Yes, please reply me in the chat box guys. Yes, name the organ which is present in the human body which provide protection to the human body. Yes, let me help you out. It's nothing but our skin. Isn't it? Skin provides us protection from all heat, rain, everything or not. So skin is the protective organ of our body. Same here, the protective organ. Yes, the protective tissue of the plants are divided into two types. That means there are two types of protective tissue. The first one is epidermis and the second one is cork. Yes, the two types of, what are the two types of protective tissue? The two types of protective tissues are the epidermis and cork. Yes, and these protective tissues are present in plants to provide protection. Let's take a better example. Suppose if it's a winter season and we are feeling cold. Yes, what we used to do? We used to wear a sweater. Yes, or a jacket. Yes or no? Or if it's rainy season or it's very hot outside, what we used to do? We move and sit at our home. But what about plants? Where they will go? Yes, they are stationary. They are still. Yes, they are standing. They cannot move. Then who will provide them protection? Definitely this protective tissue is going to provide them protections. How? Yes, how? We are going to discuss how this protective tissue is providing protection to the plants. There are two types of protective tissue present in the plant. First one is epidermis. Yes, the first type of protective tissue is epidermis, and the second type of protective tissue is cork. So how many types of protective tissue present in the plants? Two types of protective tissue is present in the plants. Epidermis and cork. What is the main function of protective tissue? To provide protection to the plants. Yes, so let's move on to the first type of protective tissue, which is called as epidermis. What it is called? Epidermis. So how the epidermis cells are there? Yes, the protective tissue epidermis consists of which type of cells? The first thing is it's made up of single layer of cells. These protective tissue, that too epidermis. Yes, this epidermis is made up of single layer of cells. What does it mean? Single layer of cells. It's a single layer made up of cells. It's a single layer made up of cells. Yes, what are the epidermis? The epidermis cells, how it is? It is present in a single layer of cells. You can see, it's a single layer, cells are present. These are called as epidermal cells. Yes, when the cells are present in a single layer, single straight line. When the cells are present in a single layer, then it is called as your epidermal cells. How the cell looks like then? The cells are your long and flat in shape. Yes, the cells are elongated and flat. Yes, the cells are elongated. This is elongated, flat. This is flat. Yes, the cells are elongated and flat in structure. So what is the structure of epidermal cells or epidermal tissue? First point, what you need to, first thing, it's provide protection. Yes, it's provide protection. It consists of a single layer of cells. It consists of a single layer of cells. And how are the cells? The cells are elongated and flat in shape. Yes, how are the cells look like? They are elongated. They are elongated, flat in shape. Yes, and the most important thing is that no intercellular space is there. I have told you about intercellular spaces. Means the space between the gaps. But in case of epidermal cells, no intercellular space are present. Yes, no gaps are there. Suppose, actually what we have read now, its main function is to provide protection. If gap is there in between the cells, suppose if intercellular space is present in between the cell, then definitely any pathogen or foreign material can enter the plant body and get stuck. Yes, and get stuck in between the spaces or gap and definitely can cause harm to the plant. So to avoid that, the cells are compactly packed. Yes, first of all, the cells are in a single layer. All the cells are arranged in a single layer and such cells are called epidermal cells. The first thing. Yes, and how are the cells? They are elongated and flat. Remember, the cells of epidermis are elongated in shape and flat. Done. Next. There is no gaps. There is no space. There is no intercellular spaces in between the cells. Yes. Suppose if gaps are there, then definitely any material can come and get stuck into the spaces and that will harm the plant. And we don't want it. The epidermis don't want it. And that's why all the cells of epidermis are tightly packed, are compactly packed. Yes, to provide protection. So no intercellular spaces is there. Now the question arises, where are these epidermis present in plant? Yes, the most important question is that where are these epidermis present? Yes, in plant. In each and every part of plant, epidermis is present because every part of plant requires protection, isn't it? So it's present in each and every part of the plants because all of it needs protection. It may be flowers, it may be leaf, it may be stem, even it may be roots also. Yes, all parts of plants requires protection. So in each and every parts of a plant, have got your epidermal cells. Understood? So where it is found? Each and every part of the plant. Where it is found? Each and every part of the plant. It may be your flowers, it may be leaves, it may be stem, it may be roots. It's present in each and every part of the plant to provide protection. And what is the structure of epidermis cells? Of course, first thing you have to write, these cells are arranged in a single layer. Done. Second structure, what do you have to write? The cells are elongated and flat in structure. Done. Third one, the cells are compactly packed so that no extra substance can enter and there is no intercellular spaces. Done with the structure. We know the occurrence. Now let's move on to what function it provides. What is the main functions this epidermal cells do? First thing, we know what is the main important function it performs. From the beginning we are reading. Protection. Of course, the first function is to provide protection to the plants. Yes, what is the first main function of these epidermal cells? It provides protection to the plants. Remember guys, what you have to write the first function? To provide for protection to the plants. So now second functions. What is the main second function? You have seen the dry habitats. Yes, you have seen many plants growing in the dry habitats, that too in desert areas. And we know that in deserts and dry habitats, there is a scarcity of water. Yes, we know that in desert areas, in your dry habitats, there is always a scarcity of water. Yes, and plants had to store the water inside their body. Yes. First thing we have to note that in dry habitat water is very scarce. The second thing is plants has to store the water inside their body. Yes, and we know about a process called transpiration. Do you know what is transpiration? Transpiration means the loss of water. Remember, the loss of water from the plant body through the stomata present in the leaves is called transpiration. Yes, what is transpiration? What is transpiration? The loss of water, the evaporation of water. The loss of water, the evaporation of water from the leaves of the plant through the stomata. What is stomata? I will let you know. Yes, the evaporation of water or the loss of water through the stomata present in the leaves is called transpiration. That means there are chances that the plant may lose water. And if it happens in case of your desert plants or dry habitat plants, then the plants are in a great risk. Although there is a scarcity of water and they are even losing their own water, then what happened to them? They will ultimately die. Yes or no? If they are losing their stored water and they are not getting water from the environment, what will happen to that plant? Ultimately, they will die. And we don't want that. Yes, we don't want that. And the plants don't want to lose its water in such cases. Then what it will do? Then comes the hero of the plant, that is epidermis. Yes, the epidermis forms a very thick layer around the leaves to prevent the water loss. How? See here. Suppose this is a leaf. Suppose this is a leaf. Yes, these epidermis will form a very thick layer over the leaf. The epidermis will form a very thick layer of epidermis over the leaf to prevent the loss of water. Yes or no? Isn't it? Here the epidermis plays the heroic role. What is it? It prevents the loss of water by making the epidermal layer very thick. If the epidermal layer is very thick, there are less chances of losing the water. Yes or no? So remember guys, in case of deserts or in case of very dry habitats, the epidermis are very thick. There is a thick layer of epidermis around the stem or around the leaves to prevent the loss of water. Yes, and the loss of water in the form of water vapors through the stomata of the leaves is called transpiration. Don't get confused, my dear children. Yes, so how water is lost? Through transpiration. What is transpiration? Evaporation of water or loss of water from the pores. Pores present on the leaves, and that pores are called stomata, and the process is called transpiration. To prevent transpiration, to prevent loss of water, the epidermis forms a very thick layer. The epidermis forms a very thick layer around the leaf to prevent the loss of water. Yes, it is the main work of the epidermis to prevent the loss of water, and hence it prevents the loss of water in case of your plants growing in the dry habitats have thicker epidermis to prevent the loss of water. Now, another characteristic features of the plants growing in the dry habitats. For example, cactus plant. Yes, in cactus plants, what happened? They secretes is waxy substances. Yes, there is a secretion in cactus plants. You might have seen some very oily, greasy substances. Yes, in desert plants, mostly in desert plants and plants growing in the dry habitats, they secretes and produces a waxy substances. Yes, what do the desert plants secretes? The desert plant secretes a very greasy, oily, waxy substances, and that waxy substances is called as your, what it is called? It is called as cutin. Yes, what it is called? It is called as your cutin. That waxy substances is called as your cutin. Waxy substance is called cutin. Yes or no? So the desert plants produces a waxy substances, and that waxy substances is called as your cutin. And when the cutin forms a layer, when a cutin, suppose this is a cutin. When the cutin forms a layer, then it is called as cuticle. Yes. What do the desert plants produce? The desert plants produces a very greasy, oily, waxy substances. And that greasy, oily, waxy substance is nothing but cutin. C-U-T-I-N. It's called as cutin. And when these cutins are gathered and forms a layer of cutin, it's known as cuticle. And this cuticle also helps in preventing the loss of water. Epidermis also helps in the loss of water, and this cuticle also prevents the loss of water. Yes or no? Understood now? So the main function of your epidermis is to provide protection. We all know that. And mostly it works in case of your desert habitat plants, dry areas plants, in cactus. Yes, what do? There is a thick epidermis layers. Yes, there is a very thick epidermis layer in stem and leaves to prevent the water loss from the stomata of the leaves, which is called transpiration. Again, in the desert plants like cactus, they produces a very greasy, oily substances. And that greasy, oily substances is called as your cutin. Remember guys, cutin. And when this layer of cutin is formed, it's called cuticle. And it also performs the same function of preventing the loss of water. Yes. again. These epidermis, I told you it's present in each and every part of the plant. It's also present in the roots, my dear children. This epidermis is also present in the roots of the plants. Yeah, you will ask me one thing, ma'am, there is a loss of water. So epidermis is right, it has got a right to present in the leaves and stem. Then what it has to do with the roots? What is the necessity of epidermis in the roots? Lots of necessity is there. How? Because the epidermis cells, listen to me very carefully, the epidermis cells which is present in the roots of the plants forms root hairs. You all have seen it. Suppose this is a root. Yes or no? You have seen root hairs or not? Yes, the epidermis in the roots of the plant forms these root hairs, and root hairs helps in increasing the absorption of more water, more minerals, and the plants require it. Yes, so these root hairs increases the surface area. Yes, these root hairs increases the surface area and helps in easy absorption of more water and more nutrients. It's another important function by our epidermal cells. Understood? The first, in dry habitat, it helps in preventing the loss of water. Again, in dry habitats, a provaxis substance is present that is called cutin, and a layer of cutin is called cuticle. It's also prevent the loss of water. The most important function obviously to provide protection, and the most important another function is it forms root hairs. Root hairs increases the surface area which helps in easy and maximum absorption of water and minerals, which is the most important requirement of our plants. Yes, so these are the functions. Now you will say one thing. Ma'am, if the epidermal cells are present throughout the plant, each and every plant of the plant, then how will this respiration takes place in the plant? Yes, it's a question mark. Yes or no? If epidermal cell is present all through the plants, then there would be no chance of respiration. Yes, but these epidermis are very smart. Yes, these epidermal cells are very smart. What did they do now? They leave some places. They leave some places. Suppose this is a leaf. They leave some places. Yes, you can see they left some places. Yes, so these epidermis are very smart. So they didn't cover the entire leaf. They left some spaces in the form of pore. Yes, they left some spaces in the form of pore, and that pore is called as your stomata. That pore is called as your stomata. Understood? What is that pore called? So the epidermis is not going to cover the entire leaf. It has left some space. It has left some gaps. Can you see it? It has left some space. It has left some gaps in the form of pores. And that pore is nothing but stomata. That pore is nothing but stomata, and through this stomata, respiration takes place. The plant takes the carbon dioxide inside it. Yes, through this stomata only, the plant leaves take the carbon dioxide inside and prepare its food, which we all know, photosynthesis, isn't it? So through the stomata, the plants takes the carbon dioxide and undergo the process of photosynthesis. And in these areas, there are no epidermal cells. Again, another question. Okay, if there are pores, then definitely there will be a loss of water again for each and every plant, whether it may be in dry areas or rainy areas, whatever it may be. Yes, if if there are pores open, if there are open pores, if the stomata opens all the time, then all the water from the plant will evaporate. Then how plant will undergo its process? How will plant prepare its food? If all the water get lost through stomata, yes, all the plants get lost through stomata, then how will the plant undergo its process? Yes, that's why a watchman is made there. Yes, we need to sit a watchman there. We need to guard the opening of the stomata or closing of the stomata. And as per the name, that is called as your guard cells. Stomata are regulated by guard cells. Yes. Stomata are regulated by guard cells. It is just like your kidney shape or your bean shape. Here comes the stomata pore and these are the guard cells. Yes, these are the guard cells which regulates the opening and closing of the stomata just as a watchman opens the door. Yes, so the guard cells regulates the opening and closing of the stomata. When there is the respiration process going on, it will open the stomatal pore. When it is not required, it will be closed. So who regulates the opening and closing of stomata? Your guard cells. Yes, which one? Your guard cells will regulate the opening and closing of the stomata, dear children. Yes, this one is the stomatal pore. Who regulates it? It's your guard cells. Understood now? What are the main functions of your protective tissue called epidermis? Understood? Clear? Now let's move on to another type of protective tissue that are called as your cork cells. Yes, now let's move on to another type of protective tissue that is called as your cork cells. Yes, it performs also the same function. Its main function is also protection. So let's see the next type of protective tissue that move on to the next type of protective tissue that is cork cells. Yes, now what are cork cells? They are dead cells. Yes, the next type of protective tissue which also provides protection are cork cells. But they are dead cells. The only work they perform is to provide protections. Yes, they provide protection and same as they are compactly arranged cells. There is also no intercellular spaces. We know that since they are providing protection, the cells are compactly arranged so that no external metals can enter and reside in the gaps between the cells. So they are compactly packed, they are tightly packed. So there is no intercellular spaces even in the cork cells, and they are the dead cells and they provide protections. To whom they provide protection? Now the question arises, epidermis is also there. So where are these cork cells present? These cork cells are generally present in the matured roots and shoots. Yes, these are mainly present in the mature roots and shoots. You will tell me, then you will say me that, ma'am, you said that epidermis is present. Children, then what happens now when a plant is small? Yes guys, when the plant is small, epidermis is there. But as it grows older and becomes mature, the epidermal cell is replaced by the cork cells. Yes, as the plants grows and mature, the epidermal cells present in the shoot and the roots are replaced by the cork cells, and there the cork cells provides protection. What is its main function? Its main function is to provide protection to the mature roots and shoot. Yes, understood guys. So whenever the plant is small, when the plant is just growing, epidermal cell is present. But as it grows and becomes mature, these epidermal cell is replaced by the cork cells, and hence the cork cells provides protection to the matured roots and shoots. So what is the main function? To whom these cork cells provides the function? These cork cells provide functions to matured roots and stems. Yes, obviously we read the structure. These are the dead cells, no intercellular spaces, provide protection especially to the matured roots and shoots. Again, these cork cells, just as in the epidermal cells, they produces a waxy substances I told. That is called cutin, which forms a layer called cuticle in case of epidermal cells. Here also, the walls of the cell produces a waxy substances. That waxy substance is called suberin. Yes, that waxy substance is called suberin. S-U-B-E-R-I-N. And that suberin also provides protection and regulates the gaseous exchange. Yes, it also regulates the gaseous exchange. If there is an excess loss of water from the leaves, this suberin forms a very thick layer as in case of epidermis. Understood? It's very simple. Yes guys, it's not as complicated as epidermal cells. It's very simple. These are the dead cells. These provides protection mostly to the matured stem and roots. As soon as the plant grows and turns mature, the epidermal cells are replaced or substituted by our cork cells. Yes. And the most important thing that it also produces a waxy substances that is called suberin. That is called suberins that regulates the gaseous exchange, that regulates the respiration. Yes guys, in this session we read about the protective tissue which is present in the plant cells. Yes, in the plants we came to know about the protective tissue. In the next session we are going to discuss about the complex permanent tissue. Yes guys, we'll meet soon. Until then, take care. See you.